The mental health problem in this country is something we usually try to sweep under the rug, but today we're hitting it head on.
You see it on the news, I see it for real in the streets, you know what I'm saying? Hey, let it drive by, I'm ducking too. Bop, 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 bop. Radio, I ain't no radio can run that fast.
We're talking directly to some of the people suffering from these issues.
I suffer with bipolar, anxiety, ADHD, depression.
And later on, we'll be discussing some of the potential solutions to those problems.
All right, brother.
Working with law enforcement, working with our school systems so that we can all come together as a community on these concerns.
Along with some of the problems to those solutions themselves.
We're just seeing so many people, many schizophrenic breaks. We're seeing people who are severely mentally ill who are begging for help.
Like I said, we'll get to all of that in just a minute, but let's start with the man who, let's be frank, is probably looked down upon by society, who simply wants to be known as Radio.
Don't clown me. I know y'all watching me on TV and be like, that's Radio, I know him. Woody woo. He lost his mind. Oh, I got my hair cut.
A video of him receiving a haircut by a Detroit firefighter went viral. Unfortunately, he suffers from mental health problems he says was started by substance abuse. Sadly, he's homeless with no real place to go.
I'm reading everybody's comments like, you should have been in the NBA. I lost my parents and went crazy. I got laced, smoking marijuana, but you can't mess up something that's already messed up.
Hate to say it, but more than half of America is in the exact same boat. According to the CDC, more than 50% of those living in the U.S. will be diagnosed with a mental illness or disorder at some point in their lifetime. Jonathan Young, who is living at Oaks Homeless Shelter with his wife and daughter in Monroe, Michigan, knows that all too well.
It affects the whole world. If you can't be healthy and stable, then you can't get your life right. You're always stuck down at the same position that you're at. You can't ever climb up that ladder because you're always slipping.
Jonathan, along with his wife, are both bipolar, and let's just say things can get explosive when they're not on their meds.
Thank God they got my fiance on medications because we were toxic. We were fighting every day. We were screaming at each other. We've had multiple issues, and now that she's on her medications, it's calmed down a lot. I mean, there's instances wherever I don't take my medications in the morning and I like to hit the walls and stuff. It's not healthy for me, it's toxic.
Remember that solution that we spoke about? Well, this is partially one of the elements. We'll talk more about that later. Just bear with me. Pastor Boone is the head of the homeless shelter where Jonathan lives.
We're worried that something bad is going to happen, that somebody's going to get hurt.
Bad news is that the shelter is closing down. Cue the problems with the Solutions banner. Because of a lack of greater resources from Monroe Community Mental Health, the shelter can no longer afford to care for those suffering from mental health disorders.
It's just really, really bad. We're having more fights. We're seeing a lot more aggression. And it's almost like we're running a psych ward.
Monroe County Mental Health says it's going to explore the options of helping, but eventually the shelter closed in mid-February. Back to more of the solutions. Roughly 80 miles from Monroe County is Macomb County, where things are very different. Mental health resources provided by Macomb Community Mental Health are considered top tier. Meet Chief Clinical Officer and licensed psychologist Agnes Ward.
We definitely are not short on the need of people really wanting and needing mental health services and really trying to meet the need of our community.
And her points can be echoed through another viral video, this one showing Macomb County Sheriff's deputies consoling a man having a mental breakdown with an emotional hug.
So what can I do for you today? You say you don't want to hurt yourself, right? No? Have you ever attempted suicide or anything like that in the past? Okay. Is there anything I can do to help you?
I could use a hug.
I'll give you a hug. It seems like you got a lot going on, man. It's all right. It's all right, man. It seems like a lot to take on, you know?
Dude, we can get you some help.
Yeah, we can get you somebody to talk to and stuff.
Afterwards, they spent time discussing all the help Macomb Community Mental Health could offer.
Macomb County Community Health, you can call them, dude, like if you're sitting here, you can just call them and talk to them on the phone. You know, they're all professionals and they'll help you out. It's all right, man. It's all right.
in that situation, it was a successful situation in the effect of diffusing. The officer did a wonderful job diffusing the situation and really realizing that there might be some mental health needs, and also just speaking to the individual in a way that was very empathetic and validating.
All right, brother.
And each day it's like it's
Appreciate it.
Hey, if you ever need anything, you just call, all right?
Means a lot.
Yeah, buddy.
Thank you.
I'm Jake, by the way. That's Fred.
All right, Jake, Fred, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
For real.
If there was more of a relationship between law enforcement and mental health professionals, there would be less fatal interactions with those suffering from these issues.
Currently even working on a training together that law enforcement is invited to and is going to partake with us on crisis response. So we definitely realize the importance of the community coming together and the different departments coming together.
But what's really going to have to change for us as a society is that we don't judge each other just for keeping tabs on our own mental health.
Mental health is still something that is taboo, or there's a stigma attached with that, and we definitely want to fight that stigma, because just like comparing it to physical health, if I asked you or anybody, have they ever seen a doctor for physical health needs, their primary care physician, most people would jump up and say, well, of course I have. That would be silly not to. But we don't think about that with mental health. And we want to make sure that mental health gets that same light and that same credibility, where people who need it freely go and seek mental health services.
Will we ever truly find a solution to these problems? No one truly knows, and only time will tell. But this is at least something you can start thinking about to try and kickstart the change that's needed today.
Be sure to subscribe to Solutionaries to see all our latest videos right here on YouTube.